I would 100% go back in. Jordan. Jordan! I was breathing and it would just be rubbing her the wrong way. I went to touch his shoulder, he like shrugged me off. I was like, what? So I said what I said.
Hi guys, it's Jodie here from ODE and we are back with another Love Island interview for you, and we've got our first 2023 Winter Love Islander in the building. It's Zara!
Hi! Thank you for having me.
It's so good to see you, but also so sad to see you because I didn't want you to be out so quickly. How are you feeling?
I'm good. It's bittersweet, of course, but it's just my journey's been a whirlwind. But again, to see my friends and family, it's a blessing. So I'm just taking it all in.
And can we just take a moment to say that this wasn't planned?
This was not planned, but girl, we're twinning over here.
Listen,
so
it was meant to
We're
be.
in sync. It was meant to be.
Well, like I say, it is great to see you, even though it's bittersweet that you're out. Let's go to the beginning of your journey then.
Okay.
So you went in, shook things up, and then drama kind of followed you right away.
Yeah, it followed me. I did not go in there wanting drama. I went in there with the good vibes. I'm a good vibes girl. I promise.
It all kind of kicked off with Liv then in the beginning. So this was the challenge where you had to pick the most two-faced islander. Did you pick her on purpose, or was it just you just had to pick someone?
Listen, we played beer pong and there was things written on the bottom, and unfortunately I'd been there like a day and I got given that, and I literally was like, are we joking? Like, are we joking? Like, I don't want to answer that. I didn't have anyone to pick. I wanted to pick Ron because I feel like the way he was sort of all over me and then sort of was trying to play hard to get, I was like, I told you I'm not here for games, and I think you're trying to play head games, and that's what made me sort of warm to Tom. So I picked him, but I knew he'd take it in sort of a light-hearted way. And then the boys were like, you haven't got to pick two boys, and I thought, oh, actually, yeah, I guess I could pick a girl, and I thought maybe if I pick a girl, it will make the Ron thing stand out more.
Yeah.
And I was looking at them, and I was like, you guys know this is not personal, and like, because I knew briefly, like I'd met Liv before in a work setting, and she was looking at me like, girl, I don't know why, I just thought, baby girl, you know this is not serious, let me just pick you. And oh my God, did that backfire? Oh my goodness. And I said to her, as soon as I did it, I was like, are you okay? Like, you know this is not personal. Like, we had no issues before. We've always crossed paths, like in work and stuff like that, and it's been good vibes. So when she really took offense to it.
And you said obviously you kind of knew her before, but was it just kind of brief? You were just acquaintances?
Literally, we've been on set a few times. We've not like hung out in like a sort of like an event setting or like a friendly setting. We've been cool. And you know, we've exchanged a few things on socials, as you do, we're acquaintances. But we had no friendship. I think people tried to say that there was like drama between us. Not at all. Like, I literally had nothing but nice things to say about the girl. I'm like, don't know her, she's nice. So when I saw she was going in, I was really excited. Like, I know a familiar face. But yeah, ultimately, I think she then in her head, again, it's intense in there, thought that anything I was doing, I was breathing and it would just be rubbing her the wrong way. She thought everything was personal, a personal attack towards her. I said it wasn't. She didn't really believe me, and it just kind of just went from bad to worse. But we are good now. We've squished it, and I hope to just focus on the positives. And I wish her the best.
Good. Well, I'm glad. So, how was things with Tom in the beginning then? Because I feel like he was maybe saying a lot more to you that we didn't see.
Yes. There's been a lot of that. And again, you guys really see a snippet of 24 hours, and I really cannot stress that enough. Me and him, he said to me so many times, verbatim, I've not had a connection like this on the outside with anyone. And I said, we need to not get ahead of ourselves. At times I was like, Tom, we need to slow down. But we just clicked. And I think, you know, we're not really each other's types on the outside, but I think that's what we kind of liked about it, because like, this is something new and exciting and fresh and fun. And we sort of just started to fall a bit head over heels.
And then it was all kind of going well, and then obviously I think Liv was still kind of in the mix. And then let's talk about that night on the daybeds, where she came over after speaking to Tom, and then there was that kind of little kerfuffle. Talk to me through that. What were you thinking in that moment?
Listen, to me, I think Liv sort of just was maybe mad that Tom turned his head, because she was with him from the start. But again, even before I was in there, Tom said they haven't really clicked. I got to sleep by myself on the first 2 nights, and they happened to be the bed next to me, and I saw they'd get into bed, turn to the left, turn to the right. There was kind of no spark. So I don't really think there was anything there. And it seemed like as soon as I showed interest in Tom and it was reciprocated, she suddenly had this unfinished business. And I think he's such a nice guy. He thought, oh, well, let me not like ignore that. Let me sort of see if there's anything, because now she's all of a sudden showing interest, which was frustrating, but I gave him the space to do so. But he said to her straight up, I can see it working with Zara on the outside. And for me, I didn't really get why Liv kind of wouldn't just let that go.
Right.
She sort of was hanging on, and she sort of was just making these kind of digs at me and stuff. And I just thought, babe, like, what have I done? Like, don't look at me. Like, I'm just in here for the same reasons I'm thinking you're in here for, just to find a connection. And every little thing I was doing, she was like, that was a personal attack at me. And I was like, how? Like, my recoupling speech, she was like, oh, you said that to get at me. And I was like, I said that to Tom. Like, I'm focusing on, it's Love Island. I'm focusing on him. Like, I'm not doing anything. If you're taking offense, okay, orcs, but that's your problem, not mine. Like, and she just really just wouldn't let a lot of things slide. And yeah, it wasn't nice in there. And I'm not someone that's gonna just let, like, you can't walk all over me. But I didn't think that I came at her in any way. I tried to be open, and it wasn't taken well from her. So we did clash.
Yeah, and then things kind of seemed to be going well between you and Tom, and then there was that challenge, and it got everyone chatting, the whole face, personality, body thing. We've been discussing it in here as well before, and I think definitely you'd want face. For me, I think I'd want face, because I feel like my body will decline, but the face card is normally all right.
Listen.
Personality, I think it makes you maybe seem as if, you know, you're not as good looking, but you've got a great personality.
Yeah.
What one would you have rather he picked out of those
The
three?
face.
Face, yeah, same.
Listen, forget looks.
Yeah.
We're all gorgeous in there. I know I'm a gorgeous girl.
Yes!
I back myself. I back myself,
Good.
and I know. Trust me, I know. You haven't got to worry about that. But for me, it's not just looks. For me, it was emotion. You know, he's been looking into my eyes. He's been kissing me. Is my voice. It all comes from the face. So for him to have picked Liv, I'm thinking, would you just want Liv with my body? That's where it started to go.
Yeah.
Backstory as well, before that started, he actually came at me and was accusing me of things that I think was being stirred in the villa. There was a lot of drama that came to me. I was going into that night, such good vibes. I was like, I hope Tom likes my hair, like my dress.
Yeah.
We were solid all day. We were literally lying up, talking about we're gonna go to Dubai, we're gonna do this. We were great. Then when we walk out, just before the challenge, he was accusing me of things, and he was like, I've heard this, and I was like, really upset, and like I actually
Accusing you of what? What have you been doing?
Gosh, is this the thing? Like, and I didn't know that this hadn't made it to air, because
Right.
context-wise, that's really important.
Exactly.
But he basically just came at me. He was fuming. I was at the fire pit with the girls, and he was like, Zara, come. And literally, yeah, and the girls were like, what? And I was like, Tom, what's the matter? I walked over to the back bit where the boys usually sit in the morning for their morning debrief, and was like, I'm fuming. And I was like, whoa. And I went to touch his shoulder. He like shrugged me off. I was like, what? I was genuinely like, what has happened? Like, we've been so good. And he was like, I've just heard things like, you know, apparently when you were talking to Shaq at the beginning, you were doing it to make me jealous. First of all, what? I'm allowed to come in. You were trying to Live. I'm allowed to speak. I had to get to know everyone. And I said I naturally vibe more with you. But my intentions towards Shaq, he's from my area. We did get on.
Yeah.
Shaq said I was a type on the outside. But this is where I saw a bit of a red flag with Tom. Because if you can't calmly communicate, look, I've heard all this stuff. Can we talk about it? And what's your side, Zara? He just kind of came at me with all this stuff. And maybe it was overwhelming for him to hear everything, because it's a lot. But it was hearsay, gossip, and people's opinions, and he was taking it as fact, and he wasn't hearing what I had to say.
I
Anything
wish
I
we'd
said,
seen that.
this is what I mean, and it was frustrating for me because that was a lot of context. And then as soon we got the text, and then the popping off challenge started. So we went into it on rocky terms.
So do you think because there was this pre-argument that we didn't know about, do you think Tom did that on purpose to annoy you?
So I genuinely don't think Tom had bad intentions for that. I think he didn't know what to do in the moment. He told me afterwards, oh, if I picked you, he said, I wanted to pick you for all three, of course, Zara. But he was like, I thought I'd be called boring. And that's when I thought, this is where I know Tom is showing his age a little bit, because you're more concerned about how people see you and being the nice guy than actually just doing the right thing and putting people's feelings first, you know, and I think that kind of transpired later on as well in the episodes. But yeah, so I think he just rushed into it, didn't think. He said, well, anything I picked would have been wrong. No. I think he went into it with good vibes, but for me, even anyone else's face, like, why don't you pick like Ron's face?
I know why Liv's.
You've had that unfinished business, which
yeah.
hasn't really been anything, because they've stopped talking now, like that. But yeah, that was frustrating. But yeah, I just sat there, and I just, obviously from the kind of argument before that he kind of was accusing me of things, to just the, like, awkward tension, and then that, I was literally just like, wow.
Then after it, particularly like when you were trying to relate to the girls, like how you felt, it felt like, if I'm honest, and I'm not digging the girls out, but it felt like no one had your back a little bit. Yeah,
and again, we were all kind of strangers still at that point, and I kept saying that to everyone, like, look guys, we actually all still getting to know each other. There's a lot of me you guys haven't seen, and I'm getting to know you guys too. But I think they were trying to be supportive, like, Zara, but no, but Tom does like you. But in that moment, that wasn't really the right advice for me. That wasn't really what I wanted to hear, because they were kind of forgetting how hurt I felt. And they were just like, well, no, Zara, just focus on the positives. But I'm like, but can we acknowledge the fact that I've just been completely hurt here?
Yeah.
And I don't think they meant it, but yeah, at times, yeah, I think the girls, they meant well, but I wish I had a bit more support from them.
Well, let's fast forward a wee bit then. So he's obviously spoken to Liv and said that, you know, he'd maybe want to try things there again, and then he's kissed Ellie on the terrace. So talk to me about when you found out, because you and Tanya were so funny in that moment.
It's just so much like to take on, because thing is, like, I actually was saying to Liv, I encourage you to explore this with Tom, because like I said, I'm kind of out the picture now. Like, we know we're not compatible anymore. We were like a flame, we burned quick, and we mutually ended it. For him to kiss Ellie, that's why we call him Terrace Tom, because it all goes down on that terrace for him. But I had all this stuff in my head, and Liv said, Zara, I think you need to, it's now or never, say it, and then you're done. And I was like, you know what, And I went over there, and I had things I wanted to say. I wanted to be like, I hope you're proud of yourself, like all these different things. But when I walked over, the boys were like, Zara, no, no, no. And I was like, no one else gets this treatment. I was like, all I've done is just walk. They say I've got this strut or whatever, but I was just walking with purpose. And I said, and because they were, I don't think it was really aired, but they were like yelling at me as I was walking. They were like, no, Zara, no, it's not worth it. And I was like, so I said, okay, well, Tom, I actually came over here to address you, but clearly you're not even giving me that chance. So I'm just going to say it in front of you all, because I want to get my point. I haven't walked over here to walk away. No. Do you know what I mean? So I said what I said, and because he was like, Zara, you're boring, before I even started speaking, I was like, the disrespect has actually hit new heights in here. And I was just fed up. Because again, you guys didn't see everything, but I know I lived it, and that was my journey, and I was just, I was done at that point. And I meant to say, I hope you're proud of yourself. But I think in that moment when I was getting kind of like shouted at and it was all happening, I thought of my parents. And then I just thought, you know what, I hope your parents are proud of you. And he did not like that comment. Wow, but the thing is, it's mad. Everything else I said, which was what I wanted to say, he didn't hear. He heard that. I'm thinking maybe that struck a nerve, because maybe he knows, he's not been actually moving the best in there.
And did you kind of know that you were going to go then? Because I remember you saying you felt like it was your time.
I felt like it was my time. It was either they'd send in someone for me. Sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, I know, Jordan. We need to talk about Jordan. You're shipping you and Jordan.
Gorgeous.
And you're not even in the same place anymore.
We're not. We didn't get the chance. And I think, you know, I've heard him say that he likes a fiery girl. He likes a girl that can put him in his place. Something that I think Tom maybe wanted, but maybe can't handle. But
how
Jordan
do we get you back in the villa? Would you go back in?
Absolutely.
Guys, we need to make this happen. ITV, please. I'm on my hands and knees. Get Zara back in the villa, please.
I feel like my journey's not over regardless, and I'm obviously grateful for my time in there, but I would 100% go back in. I feel like
would you go for Jordan now?
Absolutely. Obviously, there'll be more people to come, but Jordan right now, what more could I ask for? I saw when they lined up, he's taller than Tom too. Oh my God, and he's stunning.
Oh, Jordan. Honestly, I think people are devastated that you're out, so if there's any way that we can make it possible for Zara to get back in. I've said it 3 times now, please.
If not, hopefully I'll see him when he's out. I mean, he might have a love connection there, so that's the way the cookie crumbles. I'm aware of that.
Well, hopefully we're going to get you back in. Wow. But in the meantime, what is next for you? People are already wanting to see if you're going to go on other shows. Like the Zara Defence League is strong.
Oh my God. And again, I really appreciate it. It's not gone unnoticed, honestly. But I feel like, you know, I've got to make time to eat, girl. I need to sleep. But I'm so grateful for everything, and you know, any blessings that come my way, I'll be open. Even being here today is great. You know, like obviously I've been like sort of the performance field before, so all of this stuff is like a dream come true for me. So hopefully, this is not the last you've seen of me.
Well, listen, it definitely won't be. I am so glad that you took the time to come in. Thank you so much. Round of applause for Zara, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.